Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Josh, and today I'm back answering one of the #1 questions that I've gotten since starting my little YouTube channel here, which is why did I choose to buy this 2023 NX350h over the 450h Plus? Now, as some of y'all know who have been with me here on the channel, when I was in the market shopping for this car, I did have my choice between the NX350h and 450h Plus. Because this is our 9th or 10th Toyota or Lexus vehicle, dealers were offering me a wide selection of colors, options, configurations, both powertrains for immediate delivery. And I ended up choosing this one, which is a 350h, and I'm really happy with that decision. And a lot of you just wanted to know why. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm just going to dive right in because this has the potential to be kind of a long one, and I know some of y'all don't like that. I'm going to split this up into 3 sections because there are 3 big reasons I chose the 350 over the 450h Plus. These are the chapters in the video, and you can jump back and forth between them using the play bar here or the description down below. Now, before we dive in, I want to make it very clear because this has the potential to stir up a lot of stuff in the comments. These are my reasons for having chosen the 350h over the 450h Plus. This is not me telling you how you should approach the decision because everyone is going to have to approach this differently. So with all that out of the way, let's dive into my first reason for buying the 350h, and that is that we already have a Rav4 Prime. As some of you will know who watched my original video, in early 2021, we got so lucky to find a Rav4 Prime that was on its way to the dealer that hadn't been allocated and that could be sold to us. And if you're not aware, the NX450h Plus is essentially just a really nice Rav4 Prime. If you were to strip away the body panels and the nicer interior and the different screens and all, you're basically left with the same architecture that's underneath the Rav4, the Venza, and the NX, all 3 of which, by the way, for different global markets now come with the same plug-in hybrid powertrain. So long story short, we have a Rav4 Prime. I already kind of felt like we had the same car, so I didn't feel like I needed to get another one. But honestly, even if we didn't have that Rav4 Prime, I think I still would have ended up with this 350 because the second reason I didn't buy the 450h Plus is that the numbers on that car just don't work for me. And the reason for that is the minute you add a battery and all the technology that comes along with it to a vehicle, you are really turning that into more of a device, a mobile device, like an iPhone, than you are a car like my old school 4Runner that I can keep for 50 years and keep it running, just replacing parts and changing its oil. These are becoming technologically advanced devices. And the thing about technologically advanced devices is that like iPhones, like Apple Watches, like anything like that, they are on a really steep innovation curve. The faster that we advance that technology, the steeper that curve is, the sooner and faster they get outdated. When it comes to cars, as soon as they're outdated, the value drops, right? So the innovation curve is directly tied to the depreciation curve. So with the 450h Plus being a PHEV, the numbers really have to work for you. I cannot stress that enough. And let me tell you why they didn't work for me. Okay, so the 450h Plus gets 35 miles of range. Because we wanted a big house in the suburbs, my commute to the city center where I work is 25 to 30 miles each way. That really means that only half of my commute can be done in full EV mode. And I could plug it in at work. We have a beautiful office tower downtown. But the thing is, I'm a corporate VP in financial technology. I'm busy. When I'm in the office on site, I am running to meetings. I am meeting with people. I am dealing with work. I don't have the time to be running back down to the garage, checking on the status of my charge all the time, taking it off the charger, pulling it out of its space, finding another space, parking it there for the rest of the day. Like, I just knew that that wasn't going to work for me. And that's another number you have to take into account. How valuable is your time and how much time might you need to spend managing this car, taking it to a charging station, plugging it in, unplugging it, moving it when it's done, all that kind of thing. Like, my time is valuable. The hours and the money that I can bill at work, I don't have time to be running around, again, moving the car, plugging it in, unplugging it. Just doesn't work for me. On the other hand, for my husband who drives the Prime on a daily basis, it's a totally different story. He also works in tech, but his commute is a lot shorter than mine. It's about 15 to 20 miles round trip. And because the Prime can get him up to 47 miles of range, it works for him to be able to just plug in at home, drive to work, park at work, come home. He can do that all on EV range and plug it in at night. So he doesn't have to be doing the dance around during the day, trying to plug in and unplug and find a space and all that kind of thing. But even for people like my husband who could theoretically do most of their daily driving on full EV range, the numbers still might not work out in your favor. And the biggest reason for that is because there are no incentives available to offset the price premium on that 450h Plus. And at this point, you might be going, wait a minute, you have the Rav4 Prime. You made that work. So what's the difference between that and the 450h Plus? And here's where there is a difference. We were lucky enough to buy our Rav4 Prime when it was eligible for the full $7,500 federal tax credit. And then on top of that, we also got a $2,500 Texas state rebate, which is also no longer available. So all in, we were able to take $10,000 off the sticker price of that Rav4 Prime. And all those incentives actually more than offset the price premium of going from a Rav Hybrid to the Rav Prime. Out the door, that Rav Prime only cost us about $32,000, which is insane. But that's not the case anymore with the 450h Plus or the Prime. You no longer have $10,000 that you can take off the sticker price. So you are paying, whether in cash or financing, for the full premium and the full cost of that 450h Plus. And at this point, I want to share the actual calculations that I did when deciding between this 350h and the 450h Plus that was also on the table. Now, I'm going to put all the numbers on screen here, but keep in mind that the numbers I'm going to show you are from the actual vehicles that were on the table and offered to me from these dealers at the time. They are not base models. The car I ended up with is a nicely optioned 350h, and likewise with the 450h Plus, they were all F-Sport handlings, so that was the top of the line model. So in short, it was this car or $12,000 more for the NX450h Plus. Now, we're going to assume that gas costs about $3 a gallon. It's actually a little bit less here in Texas right now, but $3 is a nice round number. For that $12,000 price difference, I could purchase 4,000 gallons of gas. On average, I'm getting about 30 miles to the gallon in the 350h. Multiply that by 4,000 gallons of gas, and that comes out to 120,000 miles of driving that I could do for that same price premium of getting into the 450h Plus. That is basically what I would probably put on the car over a 10-year period. So I'm not necessarily breaking even on cost until the 10-year mark in the 450h Plus. Now, I know that $3 a gallon is low, so let's bump that up to $5 a gallon. But even at $5 a gallon, I could still, using that same calculation, drive 72,000 miles for that $12,000 price premium. So yes, I am paying for gas with the 350h more than I would in the 450h Plus, but in general, I'm still coming out ahead on price. And keep in mind, if you're not paying cash for this car, you are also paying interest on that $12,000 price premium to go from the 350h to the 450h Plus. Assuming an APR of 5% on a 48-month loan, you pay an additional $1,264.87 to finance the extra $12,000 price premium on that 450h Plus. So now we're way over $13,000 price premium to get from the 350h to the 450h. Again, more gas that I could be buying with my 350h Plus. Interest is money down the drain. You are not getting that back. That is going right to the bank. Not worth it. So really, you're buying the 450h Plus, I think, because you can buy it in cash and all the numbers work for you. Because there are very little to no incentives here, even if some of the numbers don't work for you, I just don't think it's worth it. And again, this is the main reason why I didn't buy it. Now, with all that being said, I do have to acknowledge here that there is a substantial net positive environmental impact, especially if the energy that you're using to charge the vehicle comes from a renewable energy source like home solar, or if your city runs on nuclear or hydropower. But the hole I'm going to poke in that argument is if that's your main goal, I think you're better off buying an EV. Run it in full EV mode all the time. Because the thing that I don't think people fully realize about PHEVs is that you still have to run the gas engine frequently. There's another YouTuber out there, AMD. He has some great content. He is a Toyota hybrid technician, a master tech no less. And he has seen countless Prius Primes come into the shop and end up with $5,000 repair bills because owners don't realize that they can't just run the car on full EV mode. If you are running the 450h Plus on EV mode all the time, you're actually jacking up and seriously damaging your gas engine. It is not there just if you need it. It needs to be run all the time. And again, you're still buying gas because you still have to run that gas engine. So yeah, if environmentalism is your goal, go with a full BEV. There are so many great options out there that have very few compromises now. I mean, it is incredible what you can get out there with a full battery electric in this day and age. And finally, my third reason for not buying the 450h Plus plug-in over the 350h is that, frankly, $65,000 to $70,000 is a ton of money to be spending on a Lexus NX. Now, I am not throwing shade at all of you who bought the 450h Plus. I am not saying that you shouldn't buy the 450h Plus. You have to value your money the way that you will. But for me, if I'm spending $65,000 to $70,000 on a car, on a compact crossover in this segment, I'm going to buy a Porsche Macan. I'm going to buy an X3M. I'm going to go buy something. I might even buy a Lexus GX and get a fully loaded, kitted out GX before they take away the V8 forever. Like, there are just, in my opinion, so many other cars out there that you can buy for that money. I might even make the stretch and spend another $15,000 to $20,000 and just go for a Cayenne, you know, or something like that. It's just, you know, the NX is a great car. It is a great commuter. It serves me perfectly for what I was needing and looking for, but at its core, it is still just an economically minded little compact crossover. It is still just a Toyota RAV4, and I am not throwing shade at the RAV4. That is one of the best cars on the road. It is one of the best cars you can buy, but at $70,000, there are just so many other cars out there that I think offer more value, offer more for the money, offer more luxury, offer more sporting pretensions, just so much more that you can get for the same money that you might spend on a 450h Plus. And that is something that you're going to have to decide upon. What is it that you value the most when it comes to a car purchase? Is it the technology? Is it the EV range? Is it all the bragging rights that come from being able to say, I have a 450h Plus? That I don't value at all. But if you do, then you do you. Rock on, buy your 450h Plus. I think you'll love it. But you, again, before you make that decision, before you pull that trigger, you really have to think through all the stuff that we talked about here. And that is why I wanted to do this video here. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it helped you understand how I ended up where I am with the car I ended up with. I am so happy, you guys, with what I did end up with. And yeah, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Any questions and comments, leave them downstairs. I will talk to you guys again real soon. This is the whole reason I do and make videos on this channel, is to answer your questions as an actual owner, someone who bought this car for their own use. Thank you guys again. I will talk to you real soon. Have a great one and take care.